And good Saturday morning to you. Welcome to Sports Talk. After a 2 weeks, 13 days have passed since we have been in the studio.
Yeah, we had our marathon high school championship football watching day.
Yep.
3 games.
Okay, Mike, you were kind of apprehensive when we mentioned doing that, going to 3.
But I'm glad we did.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask you. Did you enjoy watching 3 high school football games last week?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, I did.
I did.
Yeah, I just the marathon nature of it. But after we did it, yeah.
Which game did you enjoy the most? And just pretend like East Lincoln wasn't
Take
East
them
Lincoln.
out of the equation.
Well, you can put them in it, but just act like they weren't a local team.
You know what? For me, probably if you take off the local tag from them, I got a Reidsville and East Duplin, just for the bizarre nature of some of the plays in that game.
Right. Yeah, I would have said the same. It was a entertaining game in a way. Brad, I'm guessing likewise. You and it didn't hurt anybody's feelings to see Reidsville lose a game, did it?
No, it didn't.
I mean,
No, it never. It's always, occasionally these powerhouses need to be knocked off just to keep them honest.
Right.
I think.
Right, and we saw 2 of them go.
Well, I like to see a team
day.
that's never won a title win it.
Yeah, that's right. East Duplin.
Because guess what? They don't even get there that often.
No.
Like some of these.
Yeah, only their second time.
Yep.
Yeah, I was.
And you told me in the first one they lost to
High Brighton.
Yeah. That's been about 6-8 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, I was happy for them, and just the heads-up way they played, taking advantage of situations and special teams, kicking game, and yeah, they deserve to win.
I'll say this: they better be happy and glad the clock ended when it did, because when the game ended, Reidsville had built a lot of momentum, and I'm not sure they could have lasted another 5 minutes and held on to that lead, because they looked tired, and you should look tired at the end of a game like that. But I thought that East Bladen looked, not East Bladen, but East Duplin looked a little more tired than Reidsville.
They made a mistake of kicking deep to the
freshmen.
They did. All you had, just squib it.
Just built a lead of 10 points.
Yeah.
With 2:03 or something like that to go, maybe 2:30 something to go, and
there
he goes.
I don't get that one, and that put, briefly anyway, Reidsville back in the ball game.
Yep.
Made it kind of a little edgy for them at the end. East Duplin, that is.
Well, it came down to an onside kick, and an onside kick that Reidsville recovered, but it didn't go 10 yards. It only went 9.5 yards.
How close was it?
It was close.
It was close.
Yep.
It was close.
The Reidsville fan on the East Duplin side reminded us as we were leaving how close that was, and how close the pass interference call was, that on a 3rd and long during a huge drive at a huge time during the game that gave East Duplin a first down.
Yeah.
And kept the drive alive. They scored on that, right? That's the one they scored on later.
Yeah.
And they also
when
got
they
to
went
run
up
more
10.
clock.
Yeah.
Got to run more clock.
Yeah, and trying to think, but of course Reidsville, I found out a little bit more about number 18, the freshman. Plays both ways. He's also a basketball star. So it's a question of which way is he really going. Well, I mean, what a prospect.
My guess is either way he wants.
Yeah.
Either way.
Was he 6'8"?
6'8".
Nimble,
freshman.
great hands.
2 freshmen played key roles in that game for
That's
Reidsville.
right.
They were both.
So they're very young. You're
Yep,
right. They'll be
standouts.
back. I mean, they always are.
Yep.
But it's interesting, when the title runs through them, they always seem to make the championship game. But the times I've seen them on the road or in neutral sites, they've been beaten. So anyway, Lincoln beat them once at their place?
Twice.
Twice.
2-2.
Yeah, I remember the
went 2-2 against
2-2 against them. Yep. Not bad.
And honestly, both Lincoln wins. They've lost 2 close games up there.
Oh, yeah, I
but
remember
they
that
won
one.
2 blowouts.
I know.
Right, Brett? 36-6 and 31-7.
31-7.
Something like that.
31-7, yeah.
Yep. but yeah.
How about the heartbreaker?
They've been fortunate.
Was that 0-1, the heartbreaker, or 0-3 that lost on a field goal?
Yeah, one of them was 16-13, I think, or 13-10.
No, you're thinking about Burlington Cummings.
Yes, you are.
In 0-1, they lost on a field goal.
Oh, I am thinking about Burlington Cummings.
They lost a game by 3, but it wasn't a
it was
field goal.
That was later
Cummings,
on. Yeah.
That's right.
Yep. I got to thinking here, just reading some of this stuff, and Brad and Mike will both probably tell me this later as a reminder. 6:30 tonight, while I'm watching NFL games, Duke and Wake Forest will be playing. Football's over. I go to watching basketball. When football's being played, I complete, and I do the same thing. If basketball rolls, it doesn't really happen, but college basketball does not roll over into the Major League Baseball season.
No.
And speaking of Major League Baseball season, has Danby Swanson signed with the Red Sox yet? That's all I want to know. The Red Sox are doing some terrible
Duke
stuff.
and Wake Forest play Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, Tuesday, December 20th.
It does say Tuesday. I just assumed since it popped up on the screen here that it was today. Why would they put a Tuesday game up already?
I don't know, but Tuesday at Wake Forest.
I don't know. There are some really good matchups in college basketball.
Does Duke or Wake play today?
Duke does not.
Okay.
No, they had about 10 days off.
Okay.
The big matchup is Houston versus
Virginia.
Didn't Houston just suffer a loss in their last outing?
I don't know if it was their last game, but they did lose within the last week.
I think this is the top 2 defensive teams in the country as far as statistics go.
Yeah.
So you're looking for what, a 51-50 game, probably?
You got me on that.
It's hard to watch Virginia play. I know they're really good this year, but
okay, being really good for Virginia, does that change anything about the style that they play?
No, I think it's that Tony Bennett stamp, very slow tempo, shoot at the end of the shot clock, and of course play defense.
Right, yeah. Just looking at some of the headlines from last night. Kyrie, you mean Kyrie's playing? Kyrie wins it as the buzzer as KD defers to the hot hand. Tell me about that, Brad. I'm sure you stayed up and watched it.
I don't think it was on.
Okay.
All I can tell you is Kyrie had 32 and the Nets won.
Kyrie had 32, including the game winner, and I'm wondering if that was a 3, a 2, how much they won by.
They won by 3.
Right.
Yeah, he had a 3 at the buzzer. 5th straight win for the Nets.
5th straight win for the Nets, who have been pretty much criticized, not just forever, but more recent, a lot heavier, more recently that they've been criticized. So, fans storm Aussie soccer match, attack goalie. What's that about? Hadn't heard anything about that. Of course, it has nothing to do with World Cup. That does. All right, the schedule for the World Cup, Brad, is that 3rd place game today?
Yeah.
And
championships tomorrow.
Championship on yes. I'm sorry, I'm answering some text. So championship is
tomorrow morning. 10
a.m., right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean it's already the finals? Ooh.
Already the finals. The thing started in March.
I know. It feels like it's been going on forever.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, it seems like all right. It goes on a long time. Now, did I understand the next one will be in the western U.S.?
That's right.
Yeah.
So get ready for it.
I heard Seattle being used. Is there other stadiums that they have to use, Brett, to get this thing?
Well, I thought
as many teams and games. They use multiple fields, obviously, right?
Yeah, 3 or 4 different sites. I thought Los Angeles was the actual host.
I think it is.
LA. I'm not sure. Maybe Las Vegas will be involved.
I don't know, but I thought of a great place to have the World Cup where you wouldn't have to worry about fields. If you go west on 40 and cross the Yadkin River, you guys have seen that soccer complex.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, how many fields are there?
Yeah, I don't know, 20.
Yeah, there's a lot of soccer fields at that place, and you can't miss it because you get to cross that long river, wide river.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's long too, but across the width of that river, and there's just and we came across that well, we crossed it twice last weekend, and I know Sunday morning it was pretty populated, right, when we come back through there on Sunday morning. Broncos quarterback Russell Wilson, who has not had the greatest offensive season or any kind of season at all here this season, clears protocol but won't play.
Who are they going with?
Mark Rippon's nephew.
Oh, yeah.
What's his name, Brett?
Brett.
Oh, how could I forget that? I noticed you
Brett
didn't.
Rippon.
Brett Rippon. I was answering my own question. What's his name? Brett. Yes, there you go. So Brett Rippon, where did he play his college football? Because I do not know. I do not remember. But it is not Mark's son. I think some people may think it's Mark Rippon's son,
It's
but
not.
It's his nephew.
Okay.
That is an NFL quarterback at this time. But Denver
He played at Boise State.
Oh, wow. Good
I was
program.
almost going to
Good
say
program.
somewhere up there,
Yeah.
North Dakota State, Boise State, yeah.
My question about the Broncos has nothing to do with who's playing tomorrow in the NFL game, but what's going to happen with them at the end of the season? Are they going a different route with coaches? Because it has not been a good mix, a good
No.
whatever for
The early game mismanagement.
who takes
and
more blame.
everything
Because the defense is still, far as I know, the top defense in NFL as far as points allowed this season, and maybe yardage allowed too. But so who's more to blame with the offensive woes? Is it Russell or is it Coach? Help me with his name.
Nathan
Hackett. Yeah,
Hackett,
Paul
yeah.
Hackett's son, right?
Yeah.
The legendary Paul Hackett, who was in the league.
Well, maybe it's got something to do with the offensive line. I mean, Russell seemed to be under pressure all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
And, of course, he always has been able to make plays with his legs and so forth. But maybe Seattle knew something. Maybe they knew that Russell is, is on the downslide.
You know,
His passing
Seattle's
play.
hit the skids here lately. I think they've lost 4 out of 5 after
Yeah.
being 6-3 or 6-2.
That's right.
They've faced tougher competition.
Yeah.
For one thing, with the exception of the Panthers. I don't know how they lose the game against the Panthers
At home.
At
I
home,
don't
because they
either.
used to almost never lose a home game.
No.
But now we know at least they've lost back-to-back.
Back
because
to
they just
back.
lost to San Francisco.
Yeah, they're fading.
But they really came out of that trade smelling like a rose.
Mhm.
With the draft picks they got this year, got about that many again coming up. And right now, if the season ends, they've got the number 2 pick in the draft because that's where Denver would be sitting.
Mhm.
And they get their first round pick.
Denver unloaded the franchise for Russell.
So Seattle with Geno in there at quarterback and nobody behind him that you really know their name.
Probably go QB early.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they?
Who's the best prospect? I heard a little bit of.
And if you don't go QB, you trade down, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I heard Darian Mel on ESPN radio. Dari, I'm sorry, yeah. Mel Kiper seems to think number 11 pick, the Panthers, could go with Florida QB Anthony Richardson. I don't know.
You got me. I haven't really looked at the draft. I hadn't looked at the big board yet. But
The last I saw,
Todd McShay's already come. He's got his mock draft.
I had Denver taking a defensive player from Georgia at number 2.
Imagine that.
Yeah, defensive player from Georgia.
Can you name the defensive player from Georgia that went with the first pick this year? There you go. That's all I need to know.
That's all I need to know.
That's all I need to know.
Yep.
Where did he go? Whose pick was?
Was he a lineman? Was he a linebacker?
Oh, he's the defensive
defensive tackle. Yeah, he's a big guy. I can picture
Oh, yeah,
him.
Jordan something, right? I can't think.
I can't remember.
Can you name the quarterbacks that went in this past draft?
Boy.
For a good reason or a bad reason, you probably can. You're probably going to stand a better chance of naming those guys than you would.
Well, Sam Howell went to Washington in the 5th round.
You got that? I like it. You're going to start deep and work your
I mean, I know who Washington picked.
Work your way back.
Well, how about the Panthers pick of Matt Corral out of Ole Miss? What happened? He got hurt, right, early.
He's turned into a starter, right?
Yeah. I mean, how many top QB picks have been bust?
All right, Trevon Walker. That's the name we're looking for, okay?
Yeah, who drafted
Trevon
him?
Walker.
Yep.
Okay.
Detroit? Who was it?
Detroit did go second, and their
Who was
guy might
second?
be Rookie of the Year.
Hutchinson?
Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
He may be you got Sauce Gardner that went forth to the Jets, who's in the running for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, he's been good.
I'm guessing Derek Stingley Jr. out of LSU with the Texans has been hurt because I sure haven't heard
well, the Texans are just so bad. I don't know.
Yeah. I think he will be a good player. This one we know. He's been playing. Kayvon Thibodeau out of Oregon, playing with the Giants.
He's pretty good.
If I tell you this name, Akeem, and I hope I pronounce it right, Ikwanu, offensive tackle out of NC State. He went 6th. Do you know where he went? Nobody?
I don't.
Akeem Ikwanu out of NC State plays 25, 30 miles down the road, and you don't even know. Don't even know. Okay. Yeah. No, that's easy now. That's the only stadium within 25 miles.
Yeah.
I couldn't have got it either. I'm not going to lie about it. If you asked me who the Panthers took with the 6th round, I would not have been able to tell you.
All I can tell you that is Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, was the last player picked in the draft, right? Who is now starting
quarterback.
The 49ers.
So when I tell you that you're not going to be able to tell me who went 8th to the Falcons, you're not going to be able to tell me who went 7th to the Giants, you won't be able to tell me who went to the Seahawks at number 9, and you won't be able to tell me the wide receiver that went to the Jets at number 10.
Oh, Garrett Wilson.
Oh, I'm wrong. I was wanting you to prove me wrong.
It was a great receiver class.
I was wanting you to prove me wrong. Ohio State receivers went back-to-back. Who was the next one at 11?
That was Olave to the Saints.
Yes, Olave went to the Saints. Very good.
He's been good, too.
Yep. But some of the other names that are in there.
The Falcons took Drake London.
You're right.
Their receiver.
Southern Cal. Yep. Well, I do believe this. Before we remember who
I'm not going to remember offensive linemen.
It has to be skill position players before we remember.
That's right.
And it has to be a dynamic.
That's where the publicity is.
It is.
That's where the focus is.
Now, there is an offensive lineman coming out this year that's supposed to be top 10 from Northwestern.
Mm-hmm.
He's supposed to be – I think he's the top offensive lineman in this year's draft.
Lenny got the Panthers. He knew they were 30 miles down the road.
Oh, yeah.
In Charlotte. I'm just kidding, Lenny. He did get it. Just looking here, though, quarterbacks, I didn't realize this. If you had asked me just top of the morning today, who and where was the first quarterback taken in the draft, I've already told you top 10, and there wasn't one listed. Do you know how far down you have to go to get to the first quarterback taken in the draft? It was first round. I'll tell you that. It was first round.
20th? I don't know.
Bingo. Yeah.
Can't tell you who it was. But, hey.
What team was it?
Well, that'd be easy. That would be real easy because he's a starter.
Oh, okay.
There's your hint. He's a starter. So, right now he's not. He's injured. You know how that goes. But he is a starter with this team. Okay, you want a better hint?
Yep.
They're not going to avoid having a losing season this year. The coach has never had one.
Oh, of course.
Oh,
Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, Pittsburgh.
Steelers.
Coach has never had one, but I can't see them winning their 4 remaining games, and that's what they'd have to do.
What are they now? They have 4 wins, 5 wins?
They're 4-8, so they'd have to win all 5 to avoid a losing record.
Yeah, it's
not
gonna
or
they can tie one.
Win 4 and tie 1. Yes, yes, which is the worst thing about the NFL. Even edges out the 3 words automatic first down.
The worst thing to me is
replay.
No, the personal foul roughing the passer.
That's getting ready to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I thought the other day. How glad I am, and I hate it for anybody that got hurt and deals with it every day that played NFL, because there are a lot of injuries that people still feel day in and day out. But I'm so glad that I got to watch most of my NFL in a time where it was a man's game, because over the next 10 years, I'm telling you what's going to come next. I'm telling you what's going to come next.
You can't touch the QB?
You can't. I'm not just talking about the quarterback. I don't think in the future you'll be able to tackle without using your arms. If you tackle somebody without using your arms, like do this and just try and knock them out, flag. At some point, we're going to get to where you have to use your arms to make the tackle.
Yeah.
Because that would cause a lot less injuries.
Yes, it would.
You know,
That could happen.
Yep.
I agree.
Especially the concussion.
Yep.
Injuries.
Yeah, given the carnage we already have, the concussion issue, I can see. Yeah.
The days of Steve Atwater and Dick Butkus and John Lynch and who are some of the other guys? Ray Lewis, Ronnie Lott,
Who was the
James Harrison.
Who was the Raiders' defensive end? Ted
Hendricks.
Yeah, Hendricks.
Yep. Those days of those kind of hits, man.
Yep.
Nobody's going to earn a reputation anymore.
Vontez Burfict.
Oh my gosh! Well, his were just a little bit, just perfect, not perfect, right? I guess, but yeah, he used to lay some people out. It didn't matter if it was 30 seconds after the play,
Yeah,
or things like
Link
that.
Polly suggests on Facebook going to leather helmets. Ooh,
Yeah.
Link, that's barbarism.
Well, it would keep people from using their helmet as a weapon.
that's true.
But then you also still going to have the head-to-head.
Yeah,
You know.
you're going to have that. For sure.
Here'd be a way to do it. The defense can't wear regular helmets; they have to wear the leather.
Oh, okay.
So that way the offense
the
is
offense
protected.
continues
Yeah.
to wear their
That's-
normal
yeah,
helmets.
Yeah. I can't see that happening.
see a lot less people wanting to play defense in the
Is
NFL.
that right?
Just don't wear helmets at all, right? Just don't wear.
Rugby.
It would be rugby. Yep.
Yep.
I guess the only thing about rugby is
How about just get rid of football altogether?
Oh, easy.
No. What will we have if we do that?
okay. I'll put it this way: those guys still have a choice, every one of them, whether to play football or not. And you're seeing more and more
That's right.
step away.
Yeah.
Who was the guy with the 49ers just a couple years ago, stepped away after 2 or 3 years? I just saw this week somebody's retiring from football at age 23, maybe. I just saw it this week. I don't remember his name or which team, but it was an NFL player that's going to go ahead and
Of
step
course, we've
away.
had two classic examples within the last 5 years: Andrew Luck and, of course, Luke Kuechly.
Yep. Luke Kuechly was pretty much forced into it,
Yeah.
though. You know,
Yeah, and
I mean,
Luck,
because
I
of
think-
injuries.
There was a little bit more ambiguous with the Luck, but you know,
And I wonder if Lux was entirely about his health. What else could it have been if it wasn't entirely
I don't
about
know.
about
It had
health?
to
I
be.
mean, he didn't jump into the business world right
No.
quick, did he?
What was he? 28 at the time of his retirement. 29. 7 years, I think.
Yep. Lenny has sent me a few more guys that there'll never be again: Alex Karras, Mike Curtis, and Jack Tatum.
Oh,
That's three pretty good ones right there. And you know what? Tatum is best known, sadly, for his hit on Darryl Stingley, who we've already mentioned, Darryl Stingley's son.
yeah.
Today.
He'll always be known for
Yep,
that.
Darryl Stingley was paralyzed for life
He
after
was.
that hit.
He was.
And Mike Curtis is remembered for
Tackling the fan.
Yep.
he didn't tackle him. He didn't use his arms. He leveled a fan that had run out on the field. And who did we have this year? There was a game where a guy, was it Cam Chancellor?
Yeah.
Or
Does he still play?
maybe it wasn't Cam Chancellor. That's the wrong name. Cam was on the other night on the set.
Oh,
Yeah.
So it was, who am I thinking about that was part of that plays for somebody else now? Maybe Dallas. I can't remember where he plays now, but it wasn't Cam Chancellor. It was, give me another member of the Legion of Boom that was a linebacker.
Earl Thomas?
No.
Well, he was a safety.
No, it wasn't Earl Thomas. God, I forgot about him.
Mm.
It'll come to me in a little bit. But interesting there. In
Hey,
the,
Link has an
NFL
idea. Put
draft.
pink jerseys on the QBs.
well, they're close to pink in practice now. They're red, so they stand out, and nobody will lay them out. I don't know. 8:26. Let's just go ahead and let me go through the rest of the headlines, and then we'll take a timeout. Lakers Davis sits out second half with foot injury. Shocker right there, buddy.
Oh, he's hurt.
That's a shocker
Again.
right there. Brett, I'm sure you expected this to happen at any minute anyway, right?
Yep.
Foot injury.
Well, it seems to happen
Anthony
about
Davis.
every 10 games or so. He plays about 10 games and then gets hurt.
If it's really
As Barkley calls him, street clothes Davis.
if it's
I
really
love it.
injuries, then I feel bad for the guy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, yeah.
I really do. If he really wants to be out there playing, then I have to feel bad for the guy. But it just makes you wonder, the
Well,
toughness level.
I think he's really getting hurt.
Yeah, I do
think
too.
he's
I do
just
too.
fragile. I mean, I don't know. He's got weak ankles.
That's right. Another Sam Bowie.
Yep.
I heard this last night. The Hornets now have the worst record in the NBA. Is that correct?
I think so.
Wow, that's Charlotte sports in a nutshell.
I mean, boy, the winner of our discontent.
Ned Yates.
Yeah, but aren't the Panthers on track to win the NFC South?
They're starting to get a little Bobby Wagner.
If they win out, they win it. Bobby Wagner's who I'm thinking of.
Well, they're not going to have
Bob Duckworth.
They're not going to have to win out because those other teams are going to.
I'm just saying
games.
If they do win out.
Yeah, I know, but they probably
right now they're
win
behind.
Out.
Right now aren't they behind a game? Behind Tampa a game?
Yeah, they are. 5-8 versus.
But they probably play Tampa down the road
and
have.
They
chance,
do.
Have the chance to fix.
But they got the Saints. They got Tampa, Atlanta. I don't know who else. Well, that's their other division rivals. Not sure
I think the Jets.
Jets.
For some reason,
all winnable.
Are they playing that division, Brett? Or maybe I got that wrong. It just seems like it.
Speaking of the Hornets, they're 7-22.
7-22.
Hey. And they bring back Steve Clifford.
Not only does Bob Duckworth say Bobby Wagner, Rodney Willis weighs in as well with Bobby Wagner.
Right.
Yeah, well, see, Legion of Boom, I think the secondary.
Sam Bowie.
But he was on the team.
That's what
I
think.
You know what Lenny's giving me Sam Bowie for?
Why?
I guess he's comparing him to Anthony Davis.
Well, that's what Mike said.
That's what I said.
Okay.
No, I got credit.
I was reading.
I was the original.
Yep. Thank you. Well, maybe
the
he
Panthers play Steelers, Lions, Bucks, and Saints.
Oh, that's
but the Bucks and Saints are both on the road.
Steelers, Lions,
and the Lions
are hot.
They're playing well.
They started 1-6 and they're now 6-7. Yeah, that's hot.
And they have
second hottest team in the league.
I think
behind
they have
San Francisco.
2 first-round picks.
One thing I do know, there'll be more Steelers fans at Bank of America Stadium than Panthers fans.
They travel. A lot of black and gold in there trying to cover
a lot of black and gold.
The blue. And it's kind of weird. They might not be quite as many this year as you'd think. Of course, where did we just watch them last week? It was a Steelers crowd. Was it?
Was it in L.A. or no?
I can't remember who they played last week. I want to say Vegas. It wasn't the Raiders though. It couldn't have been Vegas.
Well, they played Baltimore last week.
It's a week before.
Yeah, it couldn't have been that game.
No.
Atlanta.
Yeah,
at Atlanta.
Full. Yeah, it was full of black. But see, I mean, if your team is not going to playoffs, you're more likely to sell your tickets. Now Carolina right now has a chance. Still a very good chance of making the playoffs, while the Steelers don't. So I don't think you'll see the normal crowd, Pittsburgh. That
probably not.
Maybe 70% of it though.
But still Steeler Nation.
It is. Let's see. Sources say Ben Attendee joins the White Sox for $75 million. He's moved around a little bit since he's been with the Red Sox.
He hadn't been great. Either.
From Boston, he went somewhere and then to the Dodgers.
No, he's never been a Dodger.
Yankees. My bad.
He was with the Royals,
Yankees, and now moving on to the Chicago White Sox. He stays injured quite a bit as well. Heat fined $25,000. List all players on injury report. Why do you fine a team for not playing its stars? Is that what happened there?
I don't know.
Somebody the other night.
Well, nobody's really truthful about injury.
I saw the NBA was very mad at a team the other night because they sat out all the 4 guys that have been all stars on that team or something. They said, I can't remember which team it was though. You can't tell an organization how to run their team though. If they want to set out the guys, they're playing to get into playoffs and make a run, and it could just be a night of rest for those guys. So you can't. I don't want them telling me how I've got to run my team. If you tell me I got to play him, guess what? I'm gonna play him to the first whistle, and I'm getting him out, and he's done.
But Mike, what do you think about?
Do you have an obligation to the fans?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Okay.
What do you think about your new shortstop in San Francisco and his contract?
Well, we desperately need help, so.
And help me with that.
Carlos Correa.
Ooh, nice pickup.
Yeah.
Terrific player. Top 5 shortstop in the game. When you consider
we wanted
the bat as well.
We flirted with Aaron Judge. I mean,
No, you didn't.
We didn't.
Aaron Judge knew where he was going when he signed with the Yankees the first time. He knew he'd never leave unless they ran him off.
Right.
Yeah, that was all a bluff.
The bad thing about Correa is they gave him a 13-year deal.
Yeah.
He'll be 41 when that's over.
Yeah, well,
Was that
I
what
think
you got to
Judge is
do
same
now?
thing.
Yeah, Judge.
Yeah.
It'll be
13
a-
years, $350 million.
Ah,
Old Dan
Ooh.
Patrick, he follows baseball pretty close. He said he would have never gave Judge that kind of contract because,
But then they
it's a
lose,
Pujols contract. You know how Pujols wound up.
Yeah.
It is.
With
They
the
lose
Angels.
Rodon to the Yankees yesterday.
oh.
6-year, $162 million.
Didn't know that.
Yankees signed Rodon.
I thought the Yankees pitching was good enough to win a World Series. I thought their batting average was not good enough to win the Maiden Little League.
Yeah.
So I think that's where they like. And it's not about hitting 100 or 540 home runs a season.
No.
You better get some people on because
right.
normally the best pitchers is going to strike out those home run hitters, and that's what we saw in the playoffs. Got to get some people on base. Their leadoff guy they had. Now he's good. I can't remember what his name is right now, but he'd been with a few teams.
LeMahieu.
No.
Who you talking about?
The one that filled in when LeMahieu got hurt and played in the World Series. Help me, Rodney. That leadoff hitter. He was a great outfielder in center field.
Well, LeMahieu
and he
hits
got on base a lot. He
as
actually
high
hit
of
5
average
home
as
runs in the
anybody.
postseason, too. This kid actually hit 5 home runs in the postseason, basically coming off the bench. Why can't I think of his name? I bet Lenny remembers it, too. Surely Rodney will. But it seemed like it started with an H. But, you know how that is.
Yep.
We got to take a time out.
Yeah, donut break time. I
Yes.
think.
I'll leave you with a trivia question as we go to time out.
Are we going to have a song today?
We might. We hadn't done that in a while, but listen to this. I caught wind of this last night. This trivia question has to do with the football game on last night. North Dakota State and Incarnate Word. We're going to take a timeout. Who is the most famous grad from Incarnate Word? Back in a minute.
I can't wait for
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back to Sports Talk. David and Brett. And Mike joins us as well.
Yeah.
Rodney Willis calling me out. He said I called him out. I didn't really call him out. I asked him. Maybe he didn't word that like call me out. Asked me to repeat what I said earlier. We've already figured it out, Rodney. We was trying to figure out the leadoff hitter for the Yankees this year, the guy that moved into center field, played center field. We've already got it. You can try and answer it if you want. I know you know it. If you don't know it, you're not much of a fan. But this guy came in. I think he hit 5 postseason home runs. And before I say the name, since we already got it, I'll let Rodney try and say it. Let's see. Kid they got from St. Louis. Yeah, okay, that's who Lenny's talking about, him. In the Jordan Montgomery trade, who we saw pitch for Sumter in the Legion World Series several years back. Had the long hair but had to cut it when he went to the Yankees. So, and Roger has got my trivia question right this morning. The most famous grad from Incarnate Word. And it is a little bit of a trick question because he's he graduated from somewhere else first.
And then went to Incarnate Word.
Yeah. Graduated from and most famous basketball player. He was well known in college basketball. He was better known in the NBA. And you guys should already got it by now, if you're going to have a chance. Brett, you looking it up?
Mm-mm.
Did he say yes or no?
I didn't bring. I forgot my phone, so I can't look it up.
You are lost, Mike Powell.
I am.
Yeah,
I feel lost.
Yeah. I don't know what it would be like now to be. That's so sad. But what it would be like to be
Akeem Olajuwon.
No, you're close.
That far back.
Well, I don't know if you're close. You're not really close. Rodney got it. Rodney either heard it on TV last night during the game or looked it up. Roger, I got to know. Just be honest. Did you look it up? And I don't have a problem with you looking it up. That's fine.
Yeah.
I just want to know.
That's how you find
Or were
out.
you watching, or did you happen to be watching when it was mentioned last night during the football game that the Admiral graduated from Incarnate Word?
Admiral.
Okay, here's one maybe even better than that. Where is that school?
It's in Texas.
Texas.
Yeah.
I know that. That's
didn't
why I
know
was
that.
guessing Akeem.
Yep. And Roger says, nope, I knew it. We need to get Roger on here then if he knows all that. That's some interesting facts right there. That's, I would have never known if I hadn't watched that last night.
There's a school in San Antonio?
It may be. It may be.
I just knew it was in Texas.
I assume it's a Catholic school.
If that's the case, it is a Catholic school. You're good there, Mike. If that is the case, then we had 3 bowl games yesterday, and 2 of the 6 teams were from San Antonio.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What's the odds of that? What are the odds of that?
It is in San Antonio.
Yes, Roger says it's in San Antonio.
San
Or Phoenix,
Antonio.
Arizona,
Or Phoenix, Arizona.
if you know where I'm going with that.
I know
Mike would know exactly.
I know where you're going with that.
Where?
It's a song.
Yep. Bye.
Oh, boy. Jimmy Buffett?
Nope.
No.
I'll give you a hint. It's a country song. Is
Oh,
anybody
of course,
going?
George Strait.
Is anybody going to San
Straight
Antonio or
flush.
Phoenix, Arizona? And Mike's 0 for 2 on his guesses.
I missed. It's not George
I think
Strait?
she recorded it later. Lanny said Dionne Warwick, which I think she did record it later. And maybe it may be the person I'm thinking of
Alan Jackson.
recorded it later. No,
Not George Strait. Not Alan Jackson.
no, and no,
Going to San
and no, and no, and no, and no, and no, and no. And while you're
give me a
thinking about
minute.
that, Richard Howe says on Andrew Luck, I read an article this week, says it was really injuries, but the pressure, not the injuries, but the pressure of being the kind of leader you need to be all the time, all the time it takes to do that. And it was just too much for him from his day-to-day basis. Just felt like he couldn't keep doing the daily grind, and he thought he had to do what he had to do to be successful. It's interesting, and yes, it is interesting. But here's the thing about it: if you have to work at being a leader, you're not a leader.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty simple, right?
It's a natural
It is.
fit.
If
Yeah.
you have to work at being a leader,
You never got your answer. To
You're-
anybody going to San Antonio.
I'm still thinking.
It is country,
yep,
and the artist passed away not long ago.
yeah, not long ago. I could give him a real good hint, couldn't I?
Yeah, he can't give
Artist passed away not long
give that
ago.
giveaway.
Yeah. What if I said he's not Caucasian?
Most famous African American country singer.
Oh, of course, Charlie Pride. Thank you. God, I kept thinking George Strait.
Most famous,
Yeah.
or like
Straight didn't
most famous, Lanny, or
Did
one
he?
of the 3?
You know what comes to mind besides in old country artists besides
Yeah.
Darius Rucker.
Well,
Yeah.
Rucker, and then there's another guy that's out there right now that's new. I saw that's really good. I can't think of his
Yeah,
name.
he's
Kane,
Yeah, that's it.
Kane
That's
something.
it exactly. That's exactly
a
what
little
I'm
bit
trying-
on the hip hop
Yep,
countryside.
Yep,
Yeah.
He's good at what he does.
And when I remember,
Oh, that's not
Charlie-
who I was thinking. That's Kane Brown.
Kane Brown.
Kane Brown.
But there's another one
Yeah, even
that's
but
been around a little longer than Kane Brown.
okay.
I bet Jason knows. Tell us, Jason.
My favorite Charlie Pride song, "The Snakes Crawl at Night." That's what they
That'd
say.
be Mike Powell. That's exactly why. I can understand you liking that one the most, but I got to think that is anybody going to San Antonio had to be his biggest.
Jimmy
hit
Allen.
of all
That's the other
time.
one I was
I don't know
thinking of.
Jimmy.
You don't know
Allen.
him?
I know Jimmy Fallon.
No. You look back at Charlie's hits in the '70s; he was rolling them out. I don't know whether that's a big one. Obviously, I'm trying to think of some. others.
I think Jimmy Allen looks kind of like Russell Wilson.
I wonder where. I'm automatically comes to mind that the answer to this is Texas, but I'm probably wrong because there's 49 other choices. Where's Charlie Pride from? You know. And at
I'm
that
saying
time,
Alabama.
he broke the barrier. I mean, he's
He
a guy
did.
that, you know,
He did.
African Americans just didn't do country music.
They just didn't do it,
And he's very good at it.
He
Very
was
good.
he was a.
But I do
groundbreaker.
not know where.
He was born
He
in
was-
Sledge, Mississippi.
Sledge,
I was
Mississippi.
close. I said Alabama.
Well, what does close get you, Mike? Let me
Nothing.
see.
Frustration, heartbreak.
I'll take you to breakfast this morning, but you got to pay. Are you really a winner? Oh, Lord. Yeah. So Mississippi. Seemed like he had some songs now that I think about it with Mississippi in some of the lyrics, maybe even in a title or two. I just happened to look on here for more and more of the anything else that jumped out to me from the week's headlines, and there's not really anything there. Do want to get into the NCAA
here's one
football
thing I wanted to
schedule.
mention.
Yes, please do. I got a whole list
in
here,
this
so.
in this season of opt-outs, not playing in bowl games, transfer portal. Nick Saban convinced his two best players Will Anderson and Bryce Young to play in the Sugar Bowl, which is really a meaningless game for Alabama.
You better hope they don't get hurt.
What if he took an insurance policy?
You know, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
But
he
think
could
about
afford
that.
it.
Yeah.
Maybe he should have got a insurance policy to donate one as Neil.
Should that be?
You know?
Should that be something that universities do for their top
Sure,
players? So that
I got no problem with it. Sure. Can't do it when they're a freshman, right? That might be called illegal recruiting.
Oh, one other
Something
thing
like
on college football before we leave. Drew Brees joining his alma mater, Purdue, as a advisor, assisting for the bowl prep. And so, you know, they lost their coach, Jeff Braun.
He did. I'm surprised by that. Why does he want to go there?
Well, he's just helping out.
He might have got the Saints job next year if he wanted it.
Well, he maybe will.
Or maybe he wants to get a little coaching experience and then get the
And how about the uncomfortable
Saints
balls?
job. Not pull a Jeff Saturday.
Cincinnati versus Louisville. You know, Satterfield left Louisville to become.
They called it
Cincinnati.
Satterfield Bowl.
Satterfield Bowl.
He won't be coaching either team, right?
Nope. He'll be sitting that one out.
It's probably best.
as a new assistant.
Probably best that he don't.
Spear.
Well, good for Mark. Good for Coach Spear going there with him to Cincinnati. Rodney was trying to flash his knowledge. You're not sure which leadoff hitter you're referencing. Well, Josh Donaldson, I wouldn't have had any problem remembering that. DJ LeMahieu, that's the one we mentioned that Brett did that he took his place. Aaron Judge. It's Harrison Bader. I mean, look at your list, Rodney. What's the name on there that doesn't stand out? It's Harrison Bader. Yes, it was any of those. It was D. I'll go with D. Harrison Bader, I thought, did a terrific job filling in that spot.
Oh, one more thing on
and
Charlie
I
Pride.
also said he hit 5 home runs in the postseason, Rodney, and I don't remember those other guys. Well, Judge probably did. But go ahead on Charlie Pride.
Bob Duckworth, "Kiss an Angel, Good Morning."
That was it.
Probably
that
was
might have been his most famous
I think
hit.
that was his
Yeah,
biggest
that
hit.
might have been
I agree with Bobby on that
his
one.
most famous hit. Before we get into college football and the NFL and high school stuff as well, we got to mention this. You know, the loss this week. What a bad week for coaches.
Oh.
We lost Mike Leach
Yeah.
earlier in the week, the head coach at Mississippi State. We lost Paul Silas, former head coach of
That's
the
right.
Charlotte. I'm not sure if they
Was
were
it
the Hornets
Wildcats
or the
or Hornets?
Bobcats.
Bobcats.
They weren't the Wildcats,
Yeah,
I'm pretty
they weren't
sure.
the Wildcats. Sorry about that.
That's
Not
Davidson.
Bobcat.
That's Davidson.
That's
right.
right.
up the road.
Right down the road.
He
Up the
wished
road.
he had been coaching Davidson.
Absolutely. And then this one's not as much news on the national front, but Neil Hodges, the former East Lincoln coach.
I did not know
Did
that.
you not?
I did not know
He
that.
passed away earlier this
Aw.
week as well.
He was a real gentleman.
He was. And a great coach.
And it's
Excellent
funny,
coach.
we used to see Paul Silas at East Lincoln games because he lived in that area.
Area.
And
he
come
would
watch
sit, he
Hodges-
would sit
Hodges
up
coach.
behind Hodges. How old was Neil Hodges?
Well, we've been talking about that, and I've never really I've got a range. I've heard people say 70. I've heard people say 72. I've heard people say 75.
I think it's in the 70s.
I thought it was upper.
I did too.
But I may be wrong too, and I don't know if there may be an obituary out there that would show you. But you know, he coached at Lenoir-Rhyne
That's right.
for quite a few years.
He
before
really
before
brought
getting in
East
high
Lincoln
school.
basketball
He did.
back.
He did.
I mean, you could just go ahead and Chris, of course.
Him and the two Surratts brought it back.
Yeah,
I'll
Chip
say.
Ashley's always been on the sidelines, but
Yep.
Neil Hodges.
79.
He was 79.
Yep.
I
Closer
thought
to
he
80.
would have been upper.
Yeah, I did
Yep.
too.
As a matter of fact, my first guess was 80. You know, but that's
How long's he been retired from East? What?
About
8, 12?
8 years.
8 years? Maybe
7 or 8 years.
7, 8 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe less.
Well,
maybe
I think-
6 years.
I don't know. I'm sure we could ask Chip, and he would pretty much have a,
Well, and he was the coach when East Lincoln played for the state 2A championship and lost to
Kent State.
Well, they lost one to
And
Kent State and
Farmville.
one to Farmville
one
Central.
Farmville
Yeah.
Central, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that second one was in 2016. So
And
that's
those two
only-
teams aren't very
Well,
good,
it
are
wasn't
they?
that long ago.
Yeah.
Those aren't good teams. Kinston only had a future.
I would say
NBA
out of the
star.
last 15 years, the state title's been won by Kinston or Farmville Central. How many times in the last 15 years? 10?
Yeah.
Probably.
Maybe.
Probably. Jimmy Allen I don't know what that means.
That's the
Current
black country
Black
singer
country
that
singer.
I
Okay,
mentioned.
the one you
a while
mentioned.
ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you know Charlie Pride played professional baseball before he found his niche in country music?
I did not know
Yeah,
that.
Rodney led off for the Yankees.
I did not know
I don't
that.
think he made it to the show, other than maybe for just
Well,
a
I
cup
saw
of coffee.
when I was
like that.
looking to see where he was from. I saw he played in the Negro League. Him
Yeah, okay.
and one of his brothers said he had 11 or 10 siblings.
They could have had a team
Yeah, him and
with a sub, with a relief pitcher.
him and one of his brothers played professional baseball.
Rodney, dude, call me out one more time, would you? Putting together treat bags. I won't call him out again. He is doing a good deed this morning. Putting together treat bags for the nativity scene visitors. I'm glad he didn't say filling up treat bags for myself, but visitors, so I could not hear the entire conversation. Had to step in the bathroom. This rant. Before this rant, Merry Christmas, and Merry Christmas to Rodney.
Absolutely.
And all the listeners of our show as well. NCAA football today. Now here's one guys that probably won't have their head coach there either. Do you know Jackson State still got one more game, and they're playing North Carolina Central today at high noon. And that's because Deion Sanders has already made the move.
Did
to
anybody
Colorado,
hear
as far as
his
I know.
opening speech
I did.
to his
Yeah.
team?
Yeah.
Boy,
Well,
that's
I think
putting it on the
everybody did.
line.
Yeah.
You guys better get your.
I don't think I would have told him to jump in the portal. I might have.
Yeah, I thought
I might
that
have backed
was
off.
a little bit hard.
I think you could have actually said that without saying it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
He could have probably got that point across without actually.
I just never
saying
heard
it.
a coach greeting his new team be that blunt.
Yeah, that's pretty blunt.
Yeah.
Pretty blunt there. It was Troy defeating University of Texas at San Antonio. What's their nickname? San Antonio
Roadrunners.
Roadrunners. Yeah,
good
I knew something
nickname.
different.
I like that one.
18-12, Troy wins that game, and UAB beat Miami of Ohio 24-20. That third game's not even listed here in this schedule, but it was. Did you find out the final, Brett? 35-32.
Yeah.
North Dakota State last night beats David
Well,
Robinson's Incarnate Word.
ESPN pays no attention to the FCB, the playoff division. They don't list the scores or
they don't.
anything.
Yeah. You're
As
right.
if it doesn't
Yeah, that's
exist.
right. The scores I'm looking at are D1, but they should have still put, like you said, they still should slip that in there.
They don't do a good job there.
All right. So we'll ask our audience, if you're going to watch a college football game today, which one are you most likely to watch? And here is your schedule. Starting at 11 a.m. Cincinnati at Louisville.
It's not at Louisville.
Yeah,
It's
I
at
know.
Fenway
That's my
Park.
fault. That's far from Louisville. I can promise you.
I'll watch it because it's the Wasabi.
It says ad on
Fenway
ESPN. I just
Yeah, that's a funny name for the Wasabi Fenway
Wasabi
Bowl.
yeah.
Fenway
And
Bowl.
I heard yesterday they're not even mentioning a brand of wasabi. It's just about wasabi.
Yeah.
Louisville taking on Cincinnati. Oregon State taking on Florida. Fresno State taking on Washington State. Southern Miss and Rice. BYU, SMU, Battle of the Initials. And Boise State and North Texas. Now, for me, the one I'm most likely to watch is probably BYU and SMU, but it's because it comes on at 7:30 tonight.
Yeah.
And I might be
Yeah.
sitting there watching TV. But the one I'm most interested in,
Well, for me,
I'm not even sure.
I don't know.
I'd say Florida and Oregon State.
Yeah,
Just-
that's the one that-
Just because Florida's the big name.
Yeah. Well, if that other one didn't have State on it, I would really be interested.
And
But
I'm pulling for the Pac-12. But Florida, Oregon State's a pretty good.
they're
football
14th.
team.
They're 14th.
Yeah.
They've come a long way
Yeah.
in just a short amount
That's
of time.
great. The
They are
Beavers.
14th,
I mean, they're having a really good season.
They're
so,
14th. Florida's not ranked, but who would you pick to win?
Yeah, probably Florida.
With a disgruntled look.
Only
Mike
6
says,
and 6.
Probably Florida. Were they not decimated by injuries this year? They had quite a few injuries.
I don't know. They lost to Vanderbilt.
Gatorland.
I mean, that,
Maybe they're just not that good.
Yeah.
Their record is what it is, and
It has
you know
to be,
what Bill
you said
Parcells
it's 6 and
said.
6 because you have to be 6 and 6 at least to get in a bowl. You
Well,
know they
don't
canceled.
those wins have to be over Division I teams?
I don't know.
That's
I
what
think
thought.
so.
Yeah.
Did you know though that they 3 bowls were canceled this year because there weren't enough 6 and 6 or better teams to fill? I don't know which bowls it were.
Yeah, that's right.
And what happens? I mean, they don't make any money whatsoever, and they probably already spent some trying to get ready for the bowl game because they weren't. You couldn't cancel them till the last week of the regular season to see if you had enough 6 and 6 teams. I don't know how that works. I don't know who eats that money.
Here's a good question: is this the first year since App State went to D1 that they have not made a bowl game?
I would say that is correct.
Never lost the bowl.
That's right.
Yep, never lost one.
Lenny
What are they,
says-
like 5-0,
Like
6-0, in their past
And
bowl
what
games?
was their final record? 6 and 6.
No, it couldn't have been.
6 and 5.
it was 6 and 6, but one of those wins didn't count
That's
toward
right. See, that's why they weren't
eligibility.
eligible. Yeah, it was over a lower division team.
Lenny says, I think Paul Silas was still living in the Denver area at death. He was, because I think Warlick's Funeral Home is handling his service. Just a terrific man. If you ever met him, and I did one time when I was down there, and just a gentle giant, basically.
Yeah, Richard Walker sent me a link to a piece he did on Silas some years ago. Very, very well done.
Yep.
It's the Citadel game. App beat Citadel.
Yeah.
And that does not count toward your 6 wins.
Right.
So what was their closest, if you got it pulled up, what was their closest loss to a
Well, they lost their last game in 2 overtimes to Georgia Southern.
That'd be it then.
Yep.
That would be
That
it.
would have got them
That's
in.
one they could have got. You know,
Coulda
they
got
also stole a couple games.
They
that
did.
Maybe,
They had a
Don't
lot of
forget
close
that.
ones.
that maybe they shouldn't.
Certainly stole one over Troy. They could have, should have, would have, could have beat North Carolina. You know, was it 63-61? I think.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe that for a season in which they call such, generated such national pub that they end up 6 and 6 not going bowling.
How bad was Texas A&M?
God.
We didn't realize it at the time.
Yeah, that's right. They were bad.
They were ranked 6th when App beat them.
Yeah.
And they finished 5 and 7.
Yeah.
And I hear 25 people, 25 players could be in the portal for the Aggies.
Yeah.
But then they beat LSU the last game of the year.
How do you figure that one?
Okay. Yeah, they did beat LSU, which you're right. That kind of blew my mind because LSU had been pretty hot.
They also beat
at the
Miami
time.
and Arkansas.
Yeah. Well, Miami's not saying a whole lot right now.
No, but at the time it was the third week of the season. It was a big win.
Do you guys
at the time
get tired of hearing about Miami every season? You know, trying to revive the ghost of 2000 and 2001. I'm just kind of tired of it, really. You know, I don't know.
I don't know. There are things out there that I'm way more tired of, I guess. I don't know how to say
I'm
it.
glad that Miami's not good.
Oh, me
I'll just
too.
say
I'm
that.
happy about it.
Yeah, there are things out there that I'm
the way
more
they
tired of
lorded
than
it
that.
over college football and didn't really act that sportsmanlike in doing it. So
You think Jim Nantz and Tony Romo are tired of being in Dallas or wherever Dallas Cowboys are every week of the season? It's like they follow them and they are.
No, but that's America's team, and the University of Miami is far from America's team.
I know.
Well, it is Coral Gables' team.
It's,
And it is that.
the Buckeyes would be. No, I don't know. Who's America's team in college?
In college football?
Well, I think Brett's got a point.
That's a good question.
I saw a Ohio State banner on Cherry Street, which is right above my neighborhood. So
Yeah, but a lot of those are people that have moved in from.
that's true.
You know,
Very
I
true.
mean, there's a guy who lives on the Country Club Road in Lincoln. There at the top of one of the hills. There.
Yeah, I
he's
know
always-
what you're talking about.
He's always flying.
See, everybody's
Ohio State
moving
thing
to
as
either
well.
Charlotte or the Raleigh-Durham area, or Union County.
Well, who
from
would you think has the
everywhere.
most national support in college football? Would it be Alabama?
National support. That's right.
Alabama's
No,
huge in
no,
the Southeast.
no.
Like, there are Duke basketball fans across the country just because of the brand that they've.
That's
Brett, I
become.
can't believe you didn't guess it. I mean, it's got to be Notre Dame.
That's exactly what I
Yeah.
It's got to be Notre Dame
Yeah,
if you
your
think about it.
team.
It's from a national standpoint because everybody else is really just in their
Don't you
region.
think that's died off over the last
It has died
20
off,
years?
but
I
it's
think
still
it
got to
has.
be. It's still got to be the top. I mean, it's still got to be the top for fans. I mean, I'm not saying they overwhelmingly are in the majority, but they got to be number one because you can't name me another one that has the kind of
gravitas across the country that they have.
Exactly.
But
what he said there.
I think it has. It has.
So
it's
I know
not what
they're-
it was.
I know they're like Duke, and a lot of people hate them across the country.
That's true.
too.
Right. Well, yeah. Which adds to popularity.
Yeah.
It adds to your popularity if they care one way or the other.
But maybe it's because so many people have migrated to the South from the Rust Belt that we think Ohio State's.
Honestly, you want me to tell you who I
brand.
think would be second? Texas. I think it would be Texas over Ohio State, Michigan. If you consider the whole country, you know what I mean? If you consider the whole country, and Oklahoma, Mike. Oklahoma's got a good following, a very good following on a national level. So, but I think it's got to be Notre Dame. I mean, you're going.
Oh, yeah, I
you
agree.
go into any town somewhere, and you're going to
All
see somebody
day.
wearing Notre
How
Dame
about the
stuff.
maize and blue?
The maize and
Held to
blue.
the victors. I'm telling you, they got to follow 'em.
I would say them and Ohio State are very similar.
Yeah.
In numbers, it's
That's true.
And when you play well, like Ohio State has for the last 10 years or so, it comes out more. Michigan's just now building theirs back.
Michigan has three things: the big house, the helmet, and the best fight song in football.
Now Brett would argue that last one,
I know he's going for the Notre Dame fight song.
but it probably is a little more popular than.
But it's amazing how similar those songs sound.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Yep.
And they don't play each other anymore right now, do they, Brett?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that used to
I
be a
know.
great game
That
to
was a
watch
great
early in
game.
the season.
That
It
was
was
a-
really
yeah.
good to watch early in the season.
It was.
I'll tell you,
look forward to that one.
next
So
year.
Michigan dropped Notre Dame.
Okay.
Next
So you know
year
what Notre
at
Dame
this
did?
time,
They went and added a bunch of games with Ohio State.
Notre Dame will play
They did.
anybody. I mean,
Sure.
the Irish have always played a national schedule.
Now I forgot what I was going to say. You guys really got me sidetracked there.
Well, Notre Dame used to play Michigan State every year too, but they had to drop. I think it's just because of the growth of the Big Ten.
Well, they're ACC commitments too, don't they? Have to play how many ACC?
They just play 5 games.
Yeah.
Monty Mosteller answers my question about which college football game are you most likely to watch. Maybe Florida, Oregon State, but on second thought, probably skip most of the bowls and catch the Hills basketball at 3 o'clock today, which I'm sure you can hear right here on WLON, right, Lanny?
Yes, sir.
Hills basketball today, pregame at 2, and Clemson follows that tonight, playing basketball.
Who does UNC
at
play today?
6:30. UNC plays. Is that who they play?
Ohio State.
Ohio State. So that's why Monty's going to watch. It's Ohio State. I'm just kidding, Monty. Let's see.
Well, if I'm in front of a TV,
Lenny agreed with me
it'll
saying
be NFL.
Notre Dame. Yeah, I'm going to watch the NFL too. And I'll flip places occasionally to see what's going on commercials. That's the one thing that's different from Sunday afternoon for me when I'm watching the Red Zone and they never have a commercial. Is when you have single games, there's a lot of commercial breaks and 3 or 4 minute breaks at a time.
Hey, here's a question: is Dion coaching Jackson State? The Link Poly seems to think he is.
I don't know if he is or not, but he may. I mean, why
You
would
don't see
I
that,
don't see any, well,
You're gone. You're gone.
Nah. Every now and then you see a coach go back and coach him in the bowl game. So, and that would be a nice way of him saying goodbye.
Goodbye to Jackson State,
It would.
which
It would, especially if he can finish it off with a win.
and look what he did for them. He elevated the program.
Rodney says Ohio State probably crushes Florida tonight if they don't absolutely destroy them. Oregon State, I'm sorry. OSU, I automatically thought.
Yeah, or Ohio State.
I'm going to start calling it an Ohio State University. An Ohio State University. Not the any longer in my mind.
See, here's the difference.
and
Florida,
Ohio
I don't
State
think
University.
Florida's invested in the game. They don't care. But I think Oregon State, I think they're in.
Yeah,
all
that's
in.
possible. They
Yeah.
probably crush them tonight if they don't absolutely destroy them. Boy, he got two big
Ooh,
as
I hope
crush and
I
destroy.
love that. I love those. Love those verbs.
Both.
Strong action verbs.
Because of their Christmas generosity. Florida's best win was opening the week against Utah. They lost
That's right, it was.
4 of the last 6, and several players not playing in the bowl game.
Yeah, sure.
Oregon State, the Beavers, they have won the last 6 of 7 games.
They're really hot.
And, did they knock off Oregon?
They knocked off Oregon.
Yeah, I was thinking like they
did.
defeated the Ducks this year, and they rarely do that.
I know.
At least over the last 20, 25 years, they rarely do it anyway. We're going to take a timeout. We're going to come back. We'll look at a little some of the top basketball games from last night, as well as a couple interesting things about today's Shrine Bowl. Back in a minute.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stiefel Nicholas can assist you. Call Fort Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stiefel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
Mike Powell on the sofa reading the newspaper over there.
Yeah, it was How the Grinch Brought Christmas to Asbury Academy.
Is this, are we back?
Yeah.
We're back. Glad to have you with us on a Saturday morning. Look outside, beautiful clear skies.
Indeed.
Possibility of a white Christmas in the forecast.
Love it.
We had
should
one
be cold
I heard
on
we had,
Christmas.
our last one was, you want to guess the last time we had one?
2010.
2010.
I remember it well.
Yeah, that's exactly right. 2010. A lot of people forget that we had a dusting of snow laying there. I can't remember if it was on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, or if it lasted. If it stayed around for both.
I think it was
but
Christmas Day evening, maybe started.
Is that what it was? Okay. I get from Lenny here. UNC plays Ohio State and Kentucky plays UCLA out at Madison Square Garden. So is this part of the Jimmy V thing? Is that what
I think
or is this some other kind of showcase
that
these teams are playing in? I know some of the past games over the last week have been for the Jimmy V Foundation.
That's true.
And I just wondered if we're still in that.
Could be, but I don't know.
Yep. Just looking here, Bryson Esser, Mason Avery, and Ben Cutter. 3 Lincoln County players. First time ever to have 3 out of Lincoln County in one single season. Playing in the Shrine Bowl today down at Spartanburg High School. And would have been 4, but Keandre Walker did not pass the physical because of his hamstring that's been bothering him the entire second or third week into the playoffs?
It's been bothering him,
He tweaked a hamstring.
The entire postseason.
Yeah.
Maybe even before.
Yep. But he will still be there. He'll get the stuff that everybody else gets, and everything like that. But we would have had 4 had he been.
Which is just, I don't know when that'll ever happen again.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Just a real tribute to some of the quality of football players we had this year in the county.
Yes. Esser's a big 6'8" guy that played for North Lincoln, played on the offensive line, had a terrific season on offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Ben Cutter and what he done. He helped lead East Lincoln, if not lead East Lincoln to a state championship and a perfect 16-0 record. Mason Avery broke all kind of records for Lincoln County this year and played, was co-player of the year on offense and player of the year on defense. So,
I never thought I'd say a back at West Lincoln was better than Clay Leatherman in the 80s, but I'm not. Mason Avery put it together.
Yeah, well,
he
if
is
you go by numbers,
if
you
he's
go by
the best
strictly
I've
numbers,
ever seen
yes.
at West Lincoln.
Yeah, a couple other guys I want to mention is Sullivan Absher. You know who that is? Mike Powell? I know Brett knows who that is because he's going to play at Notre Dame.
The Mammoth South Point offensive lineman.
He is also on that roster. There's a Charlotte Catholic player. You got Reagan McCraney from Chase High School on the Shrine Bowl roster as well. There's Esser on there. You got Chris Culliver from Maiden on the Shrine Bowl roster as well. He should be.
Yep.
Headed to UNC
Great
to play.
year for him.
And I don't know if I hadn't heard anything if he's graduating early and going to go to Carolina early or not. So that's still yet to be seen. We're going down the list here and see if I got any more. You got Jakeith Hamilton, a wide receiver out of Shelby, playing in today's Shrine Bowl.
I saw Shelby play chair a little bit last night.
And I love this name. Not David, but Jack Berkowitz.
Jack Berkowitz
is going to be playing in the Shrine Bowl out of Shelby High School. He is the kicker/punter.
Okay.
And they always have a good one.
They always
Don't think you ever have to worry about that.
Nope.
Isaiah Shirley, a defensive lineman out of Watauga, who I've heard a lot of good things
Offensive
about.
lineman? Okay.
DL.
DL.
Yep.
Okay.
And he's not on the disabled list. That's defensive lineman.
lineman.
Alec Hall, Maiden High School. Maiden with 2 players in there as well.
Wow.
I also think I'm not sure, Butch can correct me if I'm wrong, I think Hall also did not pass the physical because of his lingering injury that he suffered during the early season. But just like we mentioned with Keandre Walker, he will be there and go through everything.
Well, I'm glad Keandre at least, even though he can't play in the game, he is, part of that elite group. He had a terrific season.
Yep. I saw one here, Jack Russell. No, I'm
Jack
just kidding.
Russell.
I'm just kidding. That's what I thought of when I saw it. Russell Barnett, AC Reynolds defensive lineman, is on that team. Ledford, I want to mention this one because we saw Ledford play against East Lincoln. Caleb Moser. You know what position he's going as?
I'm trying to remember him from that game.
The oddest position in football.
Place kicker?
Long snapper.
Long snapper.
He is the long snapper.
Okay.
Unless LS stands for something else.
Yep.
Kahari Haynes. You know who that is, Mike? That's a Burns linebacker.
Yep.
Playing in today's
I have heard of
Shrine
him.
Bowl. Polk County linebacker Angus Weaver.
Well, I'm sure glad we're getting a lot of kids from this part of the Piedmont and the mountain area.
I love the first name Angus.
I do too.
That's a cool
Heck
name.
of a name.
Angus Weaver. If I ran into him somewhere, I may be totally off base, but he might have a cowboy hat on.
He might,
because his name is Angus. I don't know. That's just what I picture in my mind.
Boot scoot boogie.
You got another AC Reynolds, Deshaun Stone. AC Reynolds had a terrific year. Supposed to be moving down to 3A for the next 2 seasons. So we'll see what happens there as well. And Northern Nash, we got to mention this one. Travell Jones, Northern Nash, who we saw play last Saturday night. A Northern Nash player making the Shrine Bowl at defensive back as well. Just something I thought we ought to mention there about this Shrine Bowl. Kickoff today at 1 o'clock. I do not know of any TV. So if you want to know, if that's a question from somebody, I don't think it is on TV. It used to be years ago.
Can't even stream it on YouTube. Can't find it anywhere. Nobody's doing it.
That came from Mike Powell. And I couldn't tell if it was a question or a statement. So
I would imagine you could watch it somehow.
Yeah, I mean, there are ways, but I don't know.
In person, you can, for sure, if you want to make the trip down.
But I don't think it's on Channel 3 like it used to be.
I think you would be impressed from all the stuff I've heard this week from some coaches that went down there. I think you would be impressed if you visited Spartanburg High. So.
Yeah, I did talk to Coach Wayne Navy this week for a story about him, but he went down and talked a little bit about it.
Let's see. Speaking of OSU, and I'm guessing we're talking about Oregon State here not Ohio State University. Little sports trivia. Who holds the record in the NBA for the most consecutive games?
Most consecutive games.
Wow. Now, this, my friend, is trivia.
Obviously not a current player.
I don't know. That tells you how trivial it is. I don't know if he's a current player.
It's not Gary Payton
or not. Why? Oh, because I know he's not playing.
Yeah.
Okay.
John Havlicek.
Did he go to Oregon State?
Oh, Oregon State. Okay.
Well, that was what we were talking about. Speaking of Oregon
not
State,
Gary Payton. I get it now. Yeah.
Little sports trivia. Who holds the record for for the NBA most consecutive games played?
Yeah.
And that number is. You want to guess what the number is?
Oh God, 350. just a crazy guess. A lot more than that.
Multiply it by 3 and you'll be close.
Yeah. Well, I thought, okay, 4 figures, yeah.
Can you multiply that by 3? That's what I want to hear Mike do.
Barely. You know my math.
1,100 games in a row. This young man played 14 straight
Oregon
seasons.
State alum, right? Oregon State.
And then he says that's a wow in my book.
God.
And Rodney, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm guessing you do mean Oregon State when you put that up.
Not
there.
Oregon.
Right. And I would love to know the years because it sounds like he's not playing now.
Yeah.
By the way it's
based
worded.
on the years.
Yeah.
But Gary Payton's the only one I could even think of
I
from
know.
Oregon State.
I know. I can't
I'm
think of
sure
another.
there's probably more.
Oh, yeah. Which is not a basketball mecca.
Lenny says Gary Payton or Lonnie Shelton.
Oh, Lonnie Shelton.
We know Gary Payton's wrong, and we also know, according to Rodney, Shelton is wrong as well.
Oh, Brent Berry. I forgot or didn't realize he went there.
Brent
That's
Berry.
not who it is it?
No.
Of the Berries, yeah. The Rick Berry.
Straw and Black.
Yeah.
The
Rick
Berry family.
family.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, Oregon State. Blank played for the Lakers.
Oh.
AC Green.
AC Green.
Green.
AC
yeah.
Green.
Oh, God, yeah.
Nicknamed the Iron Man.
That's right.
Wonder why.
AC.
How did look at Lanny delivering my Christmas coffee.
Yeah.
That I went back there and made coffee during the break. I hit the button. I go back 2-3 minutes later. It's not even running.
It's in the spirit.
Did you have to hit it again to make it run? It did? Okay. Okay. So it finally did start running again. Thank goodness. I can survive now the last 38 minutes.
You can survive.
Good coffee. Good coffee. Yeah, that's a good trivia question there because I can promise you, I would have never, ever come up with it.
I wouldn't either. AC Green, yeah.
I think, help me, Brett. I think I can picture AC Green. What did he? I was going to say tall.
What did he play, a 4?
Was he not in the worthy era?
I think
what
that might be.
Yeah,
right.
well, he played in that era and
Yeah, evidently
He played
3
forever.
or 4 eras.
on the Shaq and Kobe.
Shaq and Kobe era, too, yeah.
George Mikan.
He went back to
Yeah. He's still playing.
That's a good. He played with Horry, didn't he? Horry was on the team. Robert.
Yeah.
Yeah, he only one season the second time with the Lakers.
Is that right?
85 to 93, and then he went back to the Lakers 99 2000. Played for Phoenix and Dallas in between.
Real quick, back on high school football from last week when we witnessed the state championship games. I must say this. I only saw a little bit of Northern Nash and Grimsley on the video.
Northern
last
Nash
week.
and Grimsley?
Not Northern Nash. Help me.
Grimsley
and
Newbern.
Newbern.
I missed that one.
Yeah.
Doggone it.
But I think East Lincoln was the state champions. I really think they were the state champions, and they could have beat. If they lost to the 4A teams, neither one of them was going to beat East Lincoln by more than a touchdown. I can tell you that. East Lincoln brought the best defense that I've ever seen in high school football to the table. They got off to a slow start last week. They let them have a big play.
A big catch and run.
But after that, man, you can't even name anything that they did.
Ended up with 3 picks, fumble recovery. Yeah, it was a dominating performance after the first big play. And always in the right place at the right time, physical. I agree. It's one of the best high school defenses I've ever seen.
Now, I will say this. Cutter was defensive player of the game. Offensive player of the game went to
Keandre Walker.
And the overall player of the game was Tyler Mazzell, the quarterback.
16 for 23.
This week's Western Foothills Awards came out.
And Cutter
was the overall player of the year.
That's right.
Cutter was the overall player of the year. Mazzell was offensive.
Well,
and defensive was
I don't know.
What's the guy's name, Brett, that we know so well on that defensive line? Marcel Johnson.
Marcel
a junior.
Yeah.
A junior was defensive player of the year.
You could name any of those
Johnson.
kids. Bradford, who I think was a defensive end. Of course, you mentioned Johnson, Cutter. God, what a defense. But I really do think, when you look at the overall, can't take anything away from Mizell or Chris Daly, what a year he had as a sophomore and everything else, Walker. I still think Cutter was, particularly down the stretch, when they started to use him on offense, the H-back to block, catch passes, run the football, short yardage situations, defense. He was the punter. I just think he was overall the best player.
He was on the field a lot.
Yeah, he was.
Definitely on the field.
And what a motor. I mean, I tell you who reminded me a lot of, and I made this comment to some other people, Dax Hollifield of Shelby, who was a...
But isn't he a little bit bigger or not? Am I wrong about that?
That's a good question.
He had the motor like Dax.
He did.
Yeah. Which
When Dax went to Virginia Tech and played. He's probably finished with his prep.
I don't know where he is now. Do you,
career
Brett? Did he get drafted, or is he
I think
out of school? Or
I think he was still playing.
okay, still at VT.
I think so.
Okay. High school basketball last night. Now, Brett's going to help me out with this because there's some scores we want to give. East Lincoln girls remain undefeated, defeating Hickory girls last night, Mike. How bad do you think East Lincoln girls beat Hickory?
Well,
last night?
Only because you
I
gave me a
spoiled it.
hint.
Yep.
You already spoiled it for me. But are they going to have another? What were they last year before they lost?
Something maybe in 4 or 2, or they had a terrific year last year. East
Yeah.
girls did.
Yeah.
Last night they doubled up Hickory, 62-31.
Well,
In that
and we know how good Hickory's program has traditionally been. That's a pretty amazing score. I mean, I don't know. East Lincoln certainly is good. They were good, very good last year.
Yep. On the boys' side, they took their first loss of the year.
Okay.
The boys, East Lincoln boys, lost their first game. Hickory goes into East Lincoln and wins 63-51.
Hickory's boys are good.
Yeah, they are. Well, they're ranked like either first or second in the 3A West.
Are they?
Yeah. Yeah, East Lincoln's in the top 5, I think, as well as another one from around here.
Got a question.
Well,
for
Central
you.
Cabarrus is the
That's not
best
who I'm
team,
thinking
and
about. Yeah, absolutely.
in
Winning everything
3A.
by 50.
Yeah. Got a question for you, David. We know that Tyler Mizell, the QB of the state championship team, is playing basketball. Is Markel Clark?
Oh, yeah.
I
I feel sure he is, yeah. I think, well, I can tell
I don't
you.
know about Walker because he's got the hamstring.
3 points last night
Okay.
for Walker.
So he is.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mizell went scoreless. Walker scored 3.
Okay.
Palmer
Clark-
Crichton scored 2. That's the difference right there in the game. Palmer
'Cause he's
Crichton
been in
only-
double
yeah,
figures,
only
right?
scoring 2.
Yeah.
Houston Hartsell 16, Davis 3, Kuthan 2. Jackson Fannin, sophomore, right, Brett?
He's been
Game high
productive
22,
for
or
them.
team high 22 anyway.
Yeah.
Team high 22 points last night.
East Lincoln girls lost 2 last year.
2.
28-2.
I knew
How
they
about that?
had an unbelievable
And one of those
season.
obviously was the playoff game.
Yeah, North Davidson.
Third round.
Who was their regular season loss to? I
Cox
wonder?
Mill.
Okay,
In their tournament,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Speaking of, they're coming up after Christmas.
For Hickory last night, Ty Hill, not Tyreek Hill, but Ty Hill scored 10. Jay Powell 10. Let's see. Brett Rumbaugh had 9 points. John Holbrook 11, and Jamian Little 14.
That's the sophomore point guard. He's
Is it?
supposedly
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, 14 last night. At halftime, it was East Lincoln leading 29-25, but a 16-5 third quarter tipped the scales there, and Hickory wins on the road at East Lincoln last night, and probably one of the bigger matchups in the state of North Carolina last night. If you go by
No doubt.
Hickory's got a loss. Who was it to, Brett? They did have a loss coming in, but
Inca.
Inca, yeah, who's a real 3A powerhouse, from what I understand.
Yeah, Hickory's got a.
Isn't that who knocked East out of the playoffs last year?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Inca. On the road, too, right?
Hickory's got a Little John on the team.
I saw that.
Brian Littlejohn's son.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I saw there was a Little John name.
Isaiah Littlejohn.
Obviously, it's one Little John that we know and not the others. Because if it's that others, I don't think. Well, you said Brian Littlejohn. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about Jalen, who's the coach at Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be bad if he didn't have his boy playing there, right? Dax played a COVID year at Virginia Tech, so that gave him an extra year. Everybody got that opportunity.
Right.
That comes from Lenny.
All right.
Yeah, I went back and looked. It said
Butch says Hall is playing today, so from Maiden. Alec Hall
Is
is
he?
playing today.
said Dax
so good
was
for him.
6'2", 235 his senior year at Shelby.
6'5".
6'2",
Oh,
235.
Yeah.
Oh, Ritter. I'd say Ritter's 6'3".
Ritter. John Ritter.
Ben.
Three's coming.
Cutter. I think Cutter's around 6'2", 220, 215.
Come on, knock on our door.
It's got him listed 6'1", 215. So
Okay.
Oh,
I mean, if you go by that, a little
Yeah,
smaller
a little
than
smaller.
Hollifield, but I don't know. He
I
doesn't
think he's
seem
quicker.
small.
I think he's faster. I mean, I could be wrong.
Well, I tell you what, I'll put it this way. they both did a lot of tackling without using their arms.
He did.
Because they like to hit.
Cutter liked
Both
to
of
hit.
them, both of those guys like to hit, like the contact.
But the one thing that Dax didn't do, he didn't make the all-purpose contribution that Cutter did this year for East.
Yeah.
I mean, Dax was
Well, they
pretty much
didn't have to.
They didn't
have
need
to.
him.
They
Yeah,
didn't
they didn't
need
need him
I
on
know, but-
offense.
Yep, they didn't have to.
And I really do think. I mean, I'm not sure that East really desperately needed him offensively, but it certainly helped.
I just got to say congratulations, Coach David Lubowitz, the entire East Lincoln coaching staff, and that team, because that's a there again. I wouldn't go back and say they're the best team. I wouldn't say they're the best team East ever had, but I would not say it.
No,
So I think it's
because
debatable.
they had two other undefeated teams,
Yeah.
but they were in a lower classification.
They were, but that does not matter one hill
No.
of beans to me, because
Okay.
I'm telling you right now, the 2A gauntlet,
It's tough.
it may be tougher.
I
It
know.
may be stronger than the 3A.
We've always thought that.
But it's definitely equal to.
Yeah.
If it's definitely equal to, I think. When you got teams like Shelby, Burns, Reedsville, Maiden, those teams that were playing late in the season, and the four I just named didn't even win it.
Yeah. That's
I mean,
right.
Shelby's it's different this year for them, but you know what I'm
it's
saying.
an odd
When year
for
in and
them.
year out,
Yeah.
year in and year out, would you rather, if you're going to play South Point and Kings Mountain in those final two games, I don't see much difference in Shelby and Reedsville.
No.
Not
Not in a typical Shelby year. That's right.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And as
I
far
would
as
say
programs go,
overall, position by position, this probably was the most talented East Lincoln team.
Right.
But the big difference is those other ones had Chaz Surratt.
Yep.
Well, but those other ones didn't have the defensive players.
That's what he's saying.
That
I mean,
this
this
team did.
defense was Thank you, Don Revels. I'm glad you sent me what you did the other week, because he thought I was off my rocker when I said East Lincoln, and I hesitated to say it and let you people hear it, and then them go out there and give up 40 to Kings Mountain.
Right.
But they gave up 26 to Kings Mountain. But guess what? It was some mop up.
That was window dressing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 20.
20. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was their
46 to
highest total
20.
of the year.
Yeah.
And other than that, it was last week's 15. And they doubled up that 15 with that
Yeah.
30 to 15.
I talked a lot to Coach Lubowitz over in this playoff run. He said when he first took the job to replace Mike Pice, who was incredibly successful, people thought he was crazy, but I think he's been vindicated. What a year.
People like to say that we live in the now, and since
Yeah.
it just happened, it's easier to say they were the best team. But you look at that thing, like Brett said, roster for roster,
Roster for
position by position, it's the best overall team probably that East has ever had. I mean,
yeah. I
I'm
think
not
you're right.
sure.
Yeah, I'd say it's.
I think
it's
they beat
for
the 4A
Lincoln,
teams,
for
and
Lincoln
I wouldn't
County.
have said that. I wouldn't have said that.
They're up there with the '93 Lincoln team.
Yeah, I put them.
As
I
the
think they're in
best-
the same
the best-
conversation.
That's the two best
Lincoln
teams
County
ever in this
team.
county.
Yeah, they're in the same conversation with the '93 Lincoln team.
Yeah, I'd say that's the
But
two
if you
best
go back
teams
and take
ever.
the team with Chaz Surratt, they're capable of beating anybody.
A healthy
Anybody.
Chaz
A
Surratt
healthy Chaz
would,
Surratt.
you know how we always say if you put Aaron Rodgers on any team, all of a sudden they become a Super Bowl contender. You could put Chaz on just about any high school team, and they become a state championship contender.
Well, I still believe, even though they folded down the stretch against Farmville Central in the basketball championship, a healthy Chaz Surratt, he was basically playing with one arm.
Well, he fouled out too.
Yeah, but
when they fouled out, he couldn't get the ball
That's
down
right.
the court. The team couldn't get the ball
But
down
that
the
whole
court.
stretch, he was basically playing with one arm because he had an injury from football.
He did do that. Now I'm going to go through the scores last night, but the boys' scores, but it's kind of awkward the way that I have to give them. Let me first say I want to mention this real quick if I can find it here. Lanny sent me something, and I'd already got it, but I want to mention it. That we got to mention, Mike. I can't find their record right now, but the West Lincoln girls are off to a fantastic start. Boys are too.
5-2.
Is that what I think? They got to 6-2 last night. I think they got to 6-2 last night. They beat Bandy's by a score of 69 to 4. I get them all. You don't have to. I thank you, but you don't have to.
And they
I
won
get
the
'em all.
old Oaken bucket of Hog
I think
Hill.
Hannah sends it to about 85. Yep, I get them. But Chloe Norman last night, Mike, I'm guessing career high.
32.
Close, 36.
All right.
What
She's
a night.
heck of a player.
What
I
a
remember
night.
seeing her from last year.
What a night for her pouring in
Yeah.
all those points. Now, here's the game you're most interested in, Mike.
What's that?
Knoxville Catholic beat Richmond County last night in men's basketball, 71-67. I would be interested to know where that game was played. You know, was
It's
it
a long way from each other.
Yeah, was it in
Asheville?
Was it? I
It's
bet it was played at one of the
like
two.
a
But unless it's
halfway
some kind of, it's too early to have a tournament. Too early for the Christmas tournaments to start because there's still some school this week. But
they met in the middle.
Why can't I think Rockingham? Boy, I couldn't get this town to come to my mind for some reason at Richmond County. And Rockingham and Knoxville's pretty far apart. I mean, that's 6 hours.
Yeah, at least.
So I just wonder where that game was played. AC Reynolds was a winner over Some Academy, 75-60. HHCA, I don't really know exactly what that was. Let's see. I'm going to try to find you some scores here from the western half of North Carolina. Gaston Day beat Westchester Country Day 67-40. Now, is the Ryan kid still play? Was that hit Gaston Day or Gaston Christian?
Christian.
Okay, wrong one. I thought when I started to say that I might have the wrong school. Can't guess who Millers Creek played last night. Varsity opponent. I'm not even going to give that one. Surely they won if they were just playing a varsity opponent. Scrolling on down here, more private schools. Lake Norman Christian 91, Liberty Prep 60 last night. Leesville Road beat Roseville 69-53. Kinston rolls over James Keenan 72-35. Kinston is ranked number 25 in the entire state of North Carolina. The ranking it gives you on Max Preps is all classes combined. Mm-hmm. Number 22 Chapel Hill fell to Durham Jordan 72-64.
That's where Rasheed Wallace was coaching. I don't know if he's still there or not. Durham Jordan.
Is he? I did not know that.
He was. I don't know if he still is or not.
Garner beat Fuquay last night 69-63. I hate that it's such a gap between Mike Powell's Cape Fear beat Overheels. I don't even recall Overheels.
Somewhere Max Cady is smiling.
61-57 with that win. Number 10 ranked Northwood beat Cedar Ridge. Get this one, 73-26. I'm guessing they are built around a stout defense. Robbinsville beat Murphy 48-33. Thomas Jefferson loses to Bessemer. Bessemer's loaded, right, Brett?
They are.
They are good. They're good.
They are.
81-55 last night. Bessemer City wins that game handily over Thomas Jefferson.
I saw the second half of the game, but score's not listed here. I think it was Shelby 67, Cherryville 45, I believe.
Say it again. Earlier this week?
No, last night.
It was what?
Shelby 67, Cherryville 45.
Okay, it's probably going to be on here. I wasn't.
No, it's not. It's missing. That's why I told you.
North Lincoln rolled over Statesville at home last night.
Wow.
North Lincoln 70-41.
41.
74. Statesville's 0-4 now on the season. We already told you that Hickory beat East Lincoln in one of the biggest matchups in Western North Carolina. Anyway, 63-51 last night. Thomasville over West Davidson, 66-58. Hendersonville loses to RS Central. That was a good matchup, 80-77.
I bet so.
80-77. Two good offensive teams right there going at it.
I don't think either one of those are as good as they were
a year ago.
Last year, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like Rasheed Wallace has moved on to Memphis now on Penny Hardaway's staff.
Okay.
So he just
he did coach at Durham Jordan for a couple years.
Left Durham Jordan for the University of Memphis.
Yeah.
Salisbury beat South Davidson 77-60. Randleman 34, and that wins 34-33 over Southwest Randolph.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Wow.
Pinecrest beats Cardinal Gibbons 70-66. Huff 68, West Mac 30. Piedmont 84, West Stanley 49. Harding over Berry Academy 60-54. West Forsyth over Glenn 68-55. Reedsville, we wonder if they're any good in basketball. They beat North Forsyth last night 86-48.
Well, I bet the 6'8" freshman is on the basketball team.
He had 84. That's a joke. Central Cabarrus, this is the one that we're all impressed with. They made it all the way to the Western Finals last year. Lost to West Charlotte, right, Brett? In the 3A. They are just motoring people right now. 85-38 last night over Concord.
What?
85-38.
Yeah, and that had a running clock early in the fourth. It's the only reason they didn't get to 100.
It's hard to score 100 unless the other team's staying with you.
Yeah. Yeah, they average about 90 couple.
Scary team.
Yeah.
And speaking of Reidsville,
Yep.
those two freshmen, the big man, is it Keandre Harrison?
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Averaging 19 through 2 games, and Deontay Neal averaging 13. They're 2 leading scorers.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah. They
So
might be around a
played
while.
2 games. Yeah.
Well, that's all it has the stats for.
That's probably all they played.
Yeah, that's
this
all they
week.
played.
Yeah,
That's
because
it.
they started this week after football.
They beat
Well-
River Mill, whoever that is, 75-17. And then beat
Shelby's
North Forsyth.
second game was last night. They'd only played 1 game prior to facing Cherville last night in a
Wonder
Southern
why.
Piedmont 1A 2A opener. I don't
For
know
once,
why.
it wasn't football related.
Yeah.
Is
So
that
I
a
heard
new
that.
school? Says it's in Graham, North Carolina. River Mill Jaguars.
River
It's
Mill.
new to me. South Stokes beat East Wilkes 83-51. Rocky Mount over Nash Central 64-30. Missing score on Hopewell West Charlotte. Also Crest and Ashbrook I got nothing on. Butler falls to East Meck 66-65. How about that? A competitive 1-point game. Northeastern beats Holmes last night 62-45. Patton over Polk County 67-58. Mallard Creek loses to North Meck 80-71. Monroe 50, Sun Valley 45. Southern Durham 93 to Granville Central's 57. Hunter Huss 69. Kings Mountain 69. Hunter Huss 62 last night. Played at Kings Mountain. Central Davidson over Alexander Central 45-23. Havelock loses to Pamlico 49-46. Trying to find some more scores for you in the West. Central Academy 77. North Davidson 64. Lake Norman Charter 62. Carson 49. Mitchell over Owen 68-51. That's my score of the night. Southview beat Douglas Byrd 2-1. That's what I'm looking at. I feel sure that's a misprint. The guy had a chance to hit 2 free throws at the end to tie it, and he only hit 1, right? 2-1. Community School of Davidson 73. Bradford Prep 47. Forest View over North Gaston 72-51. Fred T. Ford beats North Iredale. Didn't North Iredale finish 3rd in that league a year ago?
They were pretty good.
Yeah.
They were.
Ford beats them 64-60 last night. So
They even beat Hickory in the playoffs.
That's right.
they
last
did.
year.
They did. They sure did. Northwest Cabarrus 83. East Rowan 71. Albemarle loses to Mount Pleasant 81-43. Boy, there are a lot of scores on the scoreboard. East Rutherford over Brevard 76-60. South Iredale falls to Cox Mill 84-51. Got to give Northern Nash credit. They win last night in basketball 73-47 over Roanoke Rapids.
I read, I think they're ranked
Are
in
they?
the 3A state. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, they got
They're
some
not in the top
athletes.
25 of the overall, but that doesn't mean
Yeah.
they're I'm sure they're ranked because guess what? They rank them all, don't they?
Well, I think they're in the top 10.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Speaking of Farmville Central, the number 14 team in North Carolina beats Aiken Grifton 77-33. St. Stephen's beats West Iredale 49-29. Mount Tabor over East Forsyth 75-57. Olympic over Palisades 78-59.
Where is Mount Tabor?
Winston area,
Winston area. Okay.
isn't it, Brett?
Yeah.
Yep. I think we've been there before.
All right.
Not necessarily you, but I
No.
think Brett and I might have been there before.
Could be.
West Rowan 75, South Rowan 14, 75-14. Olympic 78, Palisades 59. I already gave that one. Burns over Highland Tech. You ready for this score? Burns over Highland Tech 72-67.
Pretty close.
Very close game.
I don't think
night.
Burns is very good.
Yeah. I think they've only won 1 game. That was last night was the opener
Highland Tech would beg to differ.
for the Southern Piedmont 102A apparently.
No score between Watauga and Lake Norman. Charlotte Catholic beat Rocky River 72-59. 58. South Point remains undefeated. They beat Kramer 83-65. Starmount 60. Mount Airy 52.
Ooh.
Brett, we expect. Well, those guys in the press box last week told us Mount Airy basketball would be down.
They did say that.
They said it'd be down for a little while. Said the JV team might have some promise, but the varsity this year will be down. And they were right. They lost to Starmount last night by 8. No score, Wilkes Central, East Surrey. Pisgah loses to Franklin 77-71. Cherokee 70. Andrews 60. Avery County 82. Jerome 58. No score, Mountain Heritage and Rosman. Smoky Mountain loses to West Henderson 69-62. And let's see. Swain loses to Hazel. Hazel 57-38. Carver loses to Winston-Salem Prep. Prep 50, Carver 30. Maiden stays unbeaten, beats East Burke 50-40. I want to say they're about 7-0 or so on the season. I think they were ranked 4th, if I'm not mistaken, in the West. All I looked at was the West.
Are they the favorite, so-called, in the
It'll be between them and West Caldwell.
Okay.
Just not sure how good West Caldwell is. I hadn't seen much on them, but it'll be between those two. It was last year, wasn't it, Brett?
Yeah.
Yeah, be between those two once again. Allegheny falls to North Stokes 81-46. North Henderson 97. Tuscola 56. West Wilkes over North Wilkes 74-72. Chase beats East Henderson 53-48. Lincoln over Bunker Hill 66-45. Lincoln's first win.
Yeah, Jalen Littlejohn
of the season.
Inaugural victory.
Newton Conover falls to West Caldwell. So now I'm learning a little bit here because Newton's pretty good. West Caldwell 80, Newton Conover 68. So a 12-point win.
Yeah, West Caldwell's 5-0 now.
Are they?
They also have wins over High Brighton and Lincoln Charter.
Yeah, impressive.
And then 2 wins over South Caldwell.
Yep, that's not a bad schedule, to say the least there. High Point Central over Northeast Guilford 51-45. Dudley over Ben L. Smith 70-64. TC Roberson 65. North Buncombe 64. West Lincoln falls to Bandy's by a single point last night. 59-58. But the West boys are much improved. These past 2 years they've been,
no question.
Yeah, they've given most teams a battle.
Well, they beat Cherryville a week ago, I think.
Southwest Guilford 86, Western Guilford 48. Grimsley over Northwest Guilford 68-51. Cannon over Chambers 83-71. And that's it. Got through the scoreboard there. We're going to take our final time out. We'll be back and wrap up Sports Talk with you right after this.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stiefel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stiefel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
Unbelievably fast this morning. I mean, these 2 hours have flown by. So much to talk about in the world of sports. Do want to mention once again, though, the sad losses of Mike Leach, Paul Silas, Neil Hodges. You know, you got a professional coach, a college coach, and a high school coach.
Yeah.
All there that we mentioned.
Did not know about Coach Hodges passing, but I respected him a lot and enjoyed his run.
To be as serious as he looked and all that kind of stuff, he had a great sense of humor.
He did.
He would always say something to just crack you up. And Mike Leach, I mean, maybe the best interview in sports of all time. When you sat down and listened to that man, and
he refused to do coach speak during interviews, so he just went all over the map.
And Paul Silas, the thing I remember most about him, 100% class.
Yep.
You know. I mean, just a classy individual, a great coach, a great person. Just, you know, looked like he enjoyed life. And that's what it's all about. Lenny says, Laker teams I remember AC Green with were Worthy, Magic, Michael Cooper, Jabbar, and Byron Scott. Mm-hmm. He also confirmed for me the West Lincoln girls are 6-2. And here he says he don't think Rasheed Wallace is on the Memphis staff anymore.
Oh, has he already left there?
It says he and Suitcase Larry Brown, and that's coming from Lenny, not me.
Right.
He and Suitcase Larry Brown were on the staff last year, but not this year. Not sure where Wallace is.
Could we say that the Memphis program is one that's volatile?
Well, I don't know. I was going to say a while ago that, you know, with all we were discussing the college backing, you know who's going to improve that? Who you think's the next school to jump on the scene with a national following? Because we mentioned Notre Dame, we mentioned Michigan, Ohio State.
Southern Cal?
I don't know if we mentioned them or not, but they always have a little bit. The Colorado Buffaloes.
Yeah, Colorado.
Yeah, because of Neon.
They've already won me over.
Yeah.
They have already won me over. Two things I was glad of in that hire. Number one, that Colorado was the first school out there to give him an opportunity. And then the other thing that pleased me even more than that was that Dion took the first one that offered him and didn't wait around to see what else came along.
That's classic.
Because he could have probably got one in the Southeast. But they were the first one to offer, and he took off.
Yeah.
I admire that.
You think Auburn missed the boat on that one? Of course, they did get Hugh Freeze.
Not really. I think they got a good guy. And people hammer Florida State because they didn't, but I think they got a good guy too. A good coach.
But I'm just saying, Dion's roots were always been in the South, playing at Florida State, so forth and so on.
I love Lenny.
What do
you were talking about Dansby Swanson to Boston. I don't think they're having a team this upcoming season. They're going to take the year off. In the last 48 hours, they have a bunch of DFAs, which is designated for assignment. And I saw that last night. Some of these guys that are – the first baseman that came in late, what was his name?
Hosmer.
Hosmer. He was designated for assignment. How do you get designated for assignment in December? What is the assignment that they're designated for? Before we go, let us tell you that the San Francisco 49ers are on a roll. They've won 7 in a row with Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, leading the way, 21-13 on Thursday night over the Seattle Seahawks. If you got the NFL Network, I'm going to say Mike Powell probably don't.
I do.
Oh, do you?
I do.
I talked with at least one person at school that don't. He's trying to find a way to watch this weekend. But Indianapolis at Minnesota, that kicks off at 1 o'clock. All these are on the NFL Network.
3 today, right?
Yes. The Ravens in Cleveland at 4:30, and the night game is Miami in what could be snowy Orchard Park in Buffalo. Tomorrow we'll start out at 1 o'clock games. There are 6 of them tomorrow. Philadelphia at Chicago, Atlanta at New Orleans. The highlight game, I'm going to leave it for last for 1 o'clock. Pittsburgh is at Carolina, Dallas at Jacksonville, and Kansas City at Houston all at 1. But the highlight game tomorrow all of a sudden is Detroit at the Jets.
Yeah.
Both teams trying to get into playoffs now, fighting for their playoff lives in that matchup tomorrow. The late games, 2 at 4:05, Arizona at Denver, New England at Vegas. The 4:25 games, Tennessee, the Titans visit the Chargers. Cincinnati at Tampa. And this is almost must-win now for Tampa if they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Your Sunday night game, the Commanders at home to take on the Giants. They just played each other 2 weeks ago, 20-20 tie.
Yep.
They play each other tomorrow in Washington.
Needless to say,
try
that's
and break the
huge
tie.
for
What's
both
the odds they finish in a tie again?
Low.
Low.
Slim and none.
How about the Monday night game?
Monday Night Football features the high-powered L.A. Rams going into Lambeau to take on the Packers. Green Bay still got a shot at the playoffs.
So this is the game.
A slim shot. If they win out, they probably get in, but that's 4 straight wins they got to have. I don't think they can win 4.
No, I doubt it.
So this is the game the best announcing team in football gets.
The Manning brothers?
Well, I mean.
Because that's what I watch when they're on.
Yeah, they're great.
Monday Night Football cannot – that looked like a good matchup at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, it did.
Anything with Arizona in it after Week 9 should not be playing in a primetime game. If your name's got Arizona in it, I just don't think you should be playing after Week 8 or 9 in a primetime game. Lenny says last 48 hours, the Red Sox have designated for assignment Eric Hosmer and Jeter Downs. And Butch Parker says the most important question I've got all day today.
Right.
How many? And I'm
in.
I'm out.
Oh.
How many people are going skinny dipping in Lake Norman today at 1 o'clock?
I think 4.
I won't be there. If Lanny and Mike's in, I won't be there for that event. We appreciate you tuning in to Sports Talk. It's been a fun ride this morning. A lot of stuff going on. For Mike, Brad, I'm David. See you next week.